You know what makes me sick? I am sick to death of all of the parents out there, mommy and daddy, who always want to blame television, movies, and video games as the sole reason why their children behave badly, or why their children may behave badly in the future as some kind of a preventive measure. Now, I'm here to say this right now. Television, movies, and video games are not responsible for our actions. They are not responsible for influencing us to act bad. They're not responsible for influencing us to curse or rape people or murder people. Just because you see murder on television and video games doesn't mean you're going to go out and kill somebody. Now, this has to do with the WWE as well. Now, as we all know, the WWE is now TV PG because they're afraid that the parents out there are going to have a backlash against the WWE and say, the WWE, the sex and violence and cursing in the WWE is going to influence my children to act badly. Well, first of all, there is no more cursing in the WWE. That was 10 years ago. The sexual content they've already toned down, but I've never cared about the sex in WWE. If you're concerned about the sex in WWE and women taking their clothes off, go out and rent a freaking porno. Now, the violence is another situation. You can see what has happened in the WWE lately, that they have toned down a lot of their violence. And even on TNA, male wrestlers are not allowed to put their hands on women. You know, there is no male on female violence on TNA Impact. And you see the WWE toning down their content. It's all part of this thing in the entertainment industry where parents continue to have a backlash against the entertainment industry because they feel that music and movies and television are causing their children to behave badly. Now, let me tell you this. When I was a kid, and I mean a young kid, when I was 10 years old, 11 years old, I watched violent movies. Movies where people got shot, stabbed, maimed, murdered. I watched movies with a lot of sexual content in them, including where people got raped. I watched movies that contained a ton of curse words. So I watched movies with violence, sex, and cursing in it when I was 10, 11 years old. And guess what? That didn't influence me to grow up and be a violent person. I watched movies with murder. That didn't make me go out and want to be a killer. I watched movies that had a lot of sex. That didn't make me go out and want to be some kind of promiscuous deviant. I watch movies with a ton of curse words. And even today, I rarely curse. Every once in a while, you'll hear me throw out a 4-letter word. But other than that, you rarely ever hear me curse. And when I was a child, I was watching all of this stuff. And why didn't I get influenced by it so much where I imitated the movies and the video games and the music that had curse words in them? Why don't I do that now? I remained a good kid. Yet parents today want to blame the music that their children listen to, the television shows that their children watch, including the WWE, and they want to blame the movies that their children watch as the reason why their children behave badly, as the reason why they curse, as the reason why they act out. First of all, I will say this. Only a small percentage of the children out there are influenced by what they see on TV or listen to on the radio or what they watch in a movie. Every once in a while you'll hear a news story where some kid killed his parents because their parents took away their video game system. Their parents took away their Xbox. Their parents took away their PS3. So the child murdered them. Every once in a while you'll hear a story about that, but you'll never hear about the other 98% of the children out there who didn't kill their parents just because they took away their Xbox. Most adults and most children out there are not going to act crazy just because they see sex and violence and cursing on TV and movies and video games and music. Instead of the parents blaming the WWE and blaming the TV shows and blaming the movies and the video games for their children acting acting out and behaving badly, maybe some of you parents out there need to just do a better job in raising your children. Oh yeah, I just went there. Some of you parents out there, you hardly see your children as it is. Your child will come home from school or wherever, they'll go in their room, and then you'll never see them again for the rest of the night, except maybe when they come out for something to eat. Some of your kids are addicted to drugs, and you don't even know it, because you never spend time with your children, and it's like you don't know them anymore. There's some kids out there who are going out and having sex with all kinds of people, and you don't even know it, because you're not doing a good job in looking after them. So you're neglectful to your children, then you want to blame television and movies and video games as why your children are acting badly. Maybe you should look in the mirror every once in a while, and maybe you'll realize that you just might be a bad parent, and you're just not looking after your children well enough, and you're just not spending enough time with them. And you're being very neglectful. You want to blame the WWE and their sexual content. And like I said, and as far as the sexual content, I could care less. Watch a porno if you want to see evening gown matches. But you want to blame the violence in the WWE causing your children to act violent. You want to blame television shows and movies and video games as the reason your children behave badly. Society is always looking for a scapegoat when something goes wrong. Anything bad that happens in society, well, it has to be for a reason. Let's blame this person, or let's blame this thing. Number one, some kids are just going to act bad just because. They could have the best parents in the world, the most loving parents in the world, and you could try to shield them all you want, but some of those kids are just going to act badly regardless, because that's just the way they are. Number two, other kids act badly because their parents basically let them do whatever they want, they neglect them, and basically, in the relationship, the kid is the parent, and the parent is the kid, and the kid has the power. And then when you make your children act like that, act however they want to act, then you're going to blame, oh, well, it's not my fault my children are acting this way. I tried to be a good parent, and you're lying through your teeth. Let me blame TV. Let me blame the WWE. Let me blame the violence and the murder on CSI. Let me blame the movies and the violence and the cursing in the movies, and blame the CD that they just bought, the new Eminem CD with him cursing, as the reason why my children are acting badly. Like I said, when I was a kid, I watched a ton of violent movies. Movies that had sexual content in them. Movies that had curse words in them. And I never wanted to imitate that. I was one of the 98% of the children who are sane and know that I'm watching a movie, and I'm not going to act like that just because I saw a movie with all of this vulgarity. And quite frankly, if you're concerned about the violence in the WWE if you're a parent, your children could basically just turn on the latest episode of CSI and see death, murder, and violence. It's easily accessible all over television. And quite frankly, they could go to school and learn how to curse. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying. You're not going to be able to shield your child from everything. That's just my rant. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.